this time? It worked. All right.
Hey, Shawn, good to see you.
Likewise, Sherry. So good to see you. Hey, everyone.
Yeah, thank you to whoever might be here now or later. Shawn and I have been doing this for a while now, where we are hosting a group in another platform that is called The Hard Stuff is Okay. And then we just come on here and we go live and just sort of process what we just learned. And I love it. I love it, Shawn.
Yeah, me too. Like, I look forward to this part as much as being in group with all the wonderful folks that we get to interact with. So,
And just before, because we like to give a shout out to author Susan Cain every time we do this work, because the reason that Shawn and I are even talking about this is because we both happen to be reading her book, Bittersweet, about the same time, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago now. And that launched us into such a meaningful conversation about, hey, our culture needs some more space to talk about stuff that's hard and to do it in a way that stays within the realm of, we want to live positive, healthy lives, of course, yet we don't want to slip into that toxic positivity, spiritual bypassing place. So finding that balance.
yeah, I think, and we can jump right into kind of what we talked about. But one of the themes that somebody like brought forth in the group today was being very present with the hard things in your life,
Yes.
not running away from it. And I think that's another way to say, well, you don't want to spiritually bypass. You want to sit with the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, because it's part of us. It's part of our lives. It's part of our shared humanity. And then I'll get into that word in particular in a minute. But
I'm glad
yeah,
you started. I'm so glad. Did I cut you off? I'm sorry. Were you?
no, no. I was about
Oh,
to hand it back over. So.
oh, I caught it before you threw it. Yeah, I love that you started with that because I found that so powerful. Each time we meet, different people come each time, but also just different tone. Sometimes there's more content. Sometimes there's more sort of conversation. Today, like along those same lines, I think that the thing that I loved so much. So there was that very basic, like we're human. We have a range
Mhm.
of emotions. Why do we think that, well, we could get into that. We don't need to, but, there are many reasons why we think something's wrong, but it's not, right? So coming from that place. And I loved, I can't give her credit because it's confidential, but I loved the person who gave what I saw as like a little bit of a prescription. And
Mhm.
she said, I know that I'm struggling. I'm okay with that. And I ask for help. And I loved the simplicity of that. Like that, we bring awareness to what's going on. We find that sense of acceptance, we're okay with it.
Mhm.
And then we ask for help so that it might start to move through us or we get some support or we are not alone. I loved
Yeah.
that.
It's yeah, you're right. It's so simple and so effective and so beautiful. Because the worst thing, if you've ever felt alone in anything you've ever done, or with depression, with moving to a new state, with big life changes, and you feel like you're alone, um, part of the reframe I like to do in those moments is like, I'm not. There have been billions of people. This can't be. I can't be the first person to experience
Yes.
this. And there's something really powerful and connective in that acknowledgement of like, oh, if I'm not the only one, they got through it or they struggled, and maybe it's a common struggle we all go through, but there's power in connecting. So
Yeah. Hi, Christopher. Thanks for joining us.
what's up,
Yeah,
Christopher, my man? Sorry.
Shawn, no. I love that because one of the things that many people, anyone who knows me, knows my story that I've gotten more clear on over the years, right? But when I went through that very, very, very depressive, wanting off this planet part of my life, I can see now that a big part of that was because I thought there was something wrong for feeling that way. I was ashamed. I didn't want to burden anybody. So I kept it in. I often
Mhm.
talk about Cardboard Sherry, who was the one, like, I would put her out in the world and she knew how to do the song and dance so that nobody would know what was really going on. And now talking about it, I can see so easily how that isolation just perpetuated the shame and the separation and the fear and the loneliness. I mean, of course I wanted off the planet. I wasn't like allowed, to, like what you just said about the word connect. I wasn't allowed to truly connect, honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I felt that way before in my life. I know that feeling, and I think most people know that feeling. And going back to like the presence part, it's when you can sit with it then and you don't feel ashamed of it, then you're able to be vulnerable with other people to
Yes.
get the help that you actually need to move forward. And I think that that's kind of the weird place with a lot of the hard stuff is we don't want to burden other people,
Right.
but that's really just because we're not okay with it ourselves.
Right. Shawn, I'm so glad you said that. That was so clear and articulate, right? That it's like, because we haven't dealt with it ourselves, like because I feel ashamed and like something's wrong, I can't imagine being able to talk to other people. And then of course what happens is, sadly, I'm probably less able to be there for other people, because I know myself, like ever since, I opened up about it and I started talking about depression and anxiety, and it became more a part of my, conversations. I have a lot more empathy. I'm a lot more present. I'm able to be with other people.
Hmm.
You had a great quote you brought. I don't know if you remember, but I think it
Yeah.
fits right here.
So as this quote goes to Bo Eason, Bo is a story teacher, former NFL star, the one man show
Yeah.
on Broadway. Guy's got done it all. Really great. And he said something along the lines of like, "It's not your job to worry about." No, I'm screwing it up. It's don't worry about people dealing with your humanity.
Yes.
And I love that quote because it's an out like stuff happens to you, you share it. It's not your burden for how other people take it. And the groups that this Heart Stuff is Okay group, Growth Day that we do, and even here, like if we want to be, we want to let you know that the bar is very low for us, or for you to have to worry about us handling your
Yes.
humanity,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. And
So,
Shawn, I want to underscore that because I think this is hugely important. I don't know how many times in my own life I had that thought, I'm tired of being a burden. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to burden people. But how many times do we hear it every time we've new people come into the group, and they
mhm.
share so beautifully and courageously, and it's lovely and it's connecting. There's often, I almost said always, but that like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to bring you down, I'm sorry. And that group is especially just for people to come and share stuff, and still people find it hard,
Hmm.
right? So I think this, and I can't say enough, like for all of us who are practicing, being with the hard stuff, talking about the hard stuff, we have to know that it's a gift to the world, because we're normalizing something that, for many of us was just layer upon layer upon layer. I mean, I don't know how many people have said, my mom said, never cry in front of anybody, or my mom said, don't let them see how you're feeling, or don't,
Always
not just
smile. Yeah.
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It, it, it's it is super interesting that those almost always comes up the apology of like someone in today's group is like, I might use some trigger words, and there were zero trigger words. I'm not sure if you felt the
Zero.
same way. Maybe they were triggering for this person, but not for anyone else. And like you just wanted to give them a big hug because you could tell they were really struggling. And that's the power of sharing this stuff. This is why
I
it's so connective.
know.
So,
Right. And the power of like you said, you want to give them a big hug, and that's true. But I also, like, I just want to create space. I feel like that's,
mhm.
and I know that was our impetus to both start that other group, but to do this, right? That it's like that hope that, oh, well, I'll finish my sentence, then I'll share with you. It was my hope that, at some point, maybe it's not right now, maybe it's down the road, somebody happens to come across this conversation at exactly the time that they're having a hard time. my hope
Mhm.
is, right, that that will create a spaciousness. And I told Shawn this, but I want to say it out loud because I think it's really funny. Like I was having a really hard time, I don't know, about a week and a half ago. And I was also trying to find a quote that Shawn had said on one of our videos. So I was both having a hard time, but I was also trying to do something. I had a quest. And in going through and sort of like looking through some of these videos and watching them, I felt uplifted. Like even though it was me and you, I still felt less alone, which I think is really funny. But also, I think it points to the power of how alone we can feel. Like in that
Mhm.
moment, maybe I was hiding, I don't know, but maybe I was just like, thought I was busy with work and didn't have time to reach out to someone. But in any case, um, that's so much what I want is to offer people space.
Mhm. Yeah, just the permission to be fully authentic and let us know what's going on. And there's no judgment, there's no solving a lot of the times, sometimes just saying it out loud makes you feel so much lighter. And if all you have to do is say some words and you feel much better, like that's why I'm a coach. Like this is why I love doing what I do, because that is such an easy lift of
Yes.
just like, oh, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. Do you feel better about it? I feel better about it. Like, okay, let's go. Like,
I love that. And it reminds me, I think I've said this before, but in case it's always helpful to say things again. I have a dear friend who we've had some conversations about how hard it is to say, help, I need help, right? And so
mhm,
we created a texting code, right? That it's just like, with one friend, it's a purple heart. That's our code. The other
mm,
friend is that mind blown emoji, like, I can't even, I can't even have thoughts anymore. And it doesn't matter what the code is, but for some reason that's easier than saying, help, I need you. And
mhm.
so I want to encourage people, and I think it's really important to also underscore. I just saw this on a meme somewhere, Instagram or somewhere, where somebody was having a really hard time, and later they told a friend, and the friend was like, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you?" The other one said, "I did," and they looked at the text, and it said, "Hey, hi, can you chat?" or something like that. But it's like we have to learn to be a little bit more direct, right?
Mhm. Especially about these tough things, right? Yeah, and it's so funny you mention that because like so many times in my life, I thought I've been very clear about what I'm communicating. And then just to have it reflected back, I'm like, hey, hi, how are you? Like, that doesn't, it's like, oh, you're just checking in versus, hey, I need help right now. I'm suffering. I'm struggling. I need a friendly ear. I need to talk through this, Um, those hey hi and I need an ear are completely two different senses of
Yes.
urgency, senses of what to expect from the conversation. um
Yeah.
and so I love that call out again is just, yeah, we have to be like, I love the purple heart or the mind blown like emoji code, like shorthand, like whatever you have to do to make it explicit. But there was a conversation around it, like when I send you just a purple heart or mind blown emoji or pizza emoji or like that's
Exactly.
a sign.
Well,
I
right,
love.
because
Yeah.
oh, sorry, Shawn. But I was just gonna
Oh no.
say, like,
Yeah. Go ahead.
for many of us, like even right now, I mean, if I saw a text come in with a purple heart, right, I'd be like,
Hmm.
Shawn, I've loved talking to you. I think it's time to go. I would close out our call. I would call my friend. Now, if a
Hmm.
text came in that said, like, hey, hi, what's up? No, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing until there's a time. And so yeah, I'm glad to cover that piece again. Anything else that before we do go for real, like anything that we missed?
There was something about identity. Like someone mentioned identity in the call and
Yeah,
identifying as being depressed. I think was that you maybe. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think.
probably.
Did you say
Well,
that, or was
there
it
were
somebody
two things.
else? Like in your pet, you're
There
at
was
pal. You're. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead and just out. No, that was it. Was I was talking about? I was talking about
Oh
having that
no.
identity. I was talking about having that identity as a younger woman, and
Hmm.
and that I couldn't at the time understand that it's possible to be depressed and also have other parts of my life, and that I didn't have to identify as a depressed person, right? And I think that's been,
Hmm.
in fact, um, one person was sharing something about a really difficult, really, really hard stuff. And yet, one of the things that this person has seen in retrospect is a false identity that was
Hmm.
released, just as sort of like a, I saw that as like the universe saying, I know this has been really hard, but here's something, something that can
Hmm.
come from it. Not that we want to jump to those things, but that, can come. And I think that really struck me, that idea that sometimes when we go through hard stuff, we do drop a false identity.
Yeah. And so the question I had for you is there an identity we should adopt or
Oh.
to counter that or to accept it?
Oh.
Or I have an idea, but I'd like to hear your thought on it real quick.
Ooh. Yeah, thank you. Don't lose You won't lose your thought, will you?
No, no, no.
Instantly when you said that, I loved that because whereas my identity when I was like, I'm a depressed person, the identity also was simultaneously, I've got it all together. I'm joyful. I'm fine. Right. So the cardboard
Hmm.
cherry identity, the false identity was, oh, look, I'm fine. Everything's good. But behind that was the identity of the depressed person. I think the identity I would want to adopt right now is I'm someone who's willing to have the courage to be vulnerable and share my feelings, my authentic feelings with people I trust.
Hmm. I love that.
What about you?
Yeah,
What
I
were you
think
thinking?
what came to me is I am a human being with multitudes. And I think it was a different way to say exactly what you just
Hi.
said, in that I have happy moments in my life and things to celebrate. I have things to mourn or things that I don't like about myself, the world, or whatever that upset me. And that's just part of me, like I am one whole person that
Yes.
has these things inside. And they're not right, they're not wrong, they just are. And the more that I can honor both sides, both the joyful and the sorrowful, or however that, not that there's a dichotomy, like there's so
Yes.
many other different things, but the more I can honor more of me, the more brave I can be in the world and asking for help and expressing myself and getting in front of a group of a bunch of my peers and
Yeah.
really wanting to serve and beating myself up over it a little bit, but like that's because it's because I can't. Like there's so many different things we need to honor. That's yeah.
I love that, Shawn. I love that we're sort of closing out with this because this is super important, right? Like, and I just want to say again, because it's, I think a lot of people, I work at events where I'm bringing a lot of joy, and in life, I do try to bring a lot of joy. And I feel like it's really important that I'm constantly saying that is a practice, right?
Hmm.
It's a calling in sometimes it's I am going through a hard thing, and I'm calling in the moment a way to bring joy so that it's not like I'm denying my feelings, but the moment's calling
Hmm.
for joy. And so I think I always like to tell it's a practice. It's such a practice, and it's especially as I grow older, it's that subtlety of allowing multiple. That's why I love that you said that. I'm a, how'd you phrase it? I'm a
Human with
mm,
multitudes.
multitudes. Yes. I
I
love
forgot.
that because it's that permission to have all of it, So
Hmm.
if someone says like, "Oh, you're so joyful. I love that." So that I can say, "Yes, and, I am."
Hmm.
And I'm really, going through a hard time with about this, or I'm having, loss over here, and letting it be that I love that person of multitudes.
Hmm. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Shawn, thank you so much. I love our conversations.
Likewise, Sherry. This is always so enlightful and inspiring, and um, someone who might freak out and the impromptu-ness of our conversations. Like, I would rather much have things planned out. This is a very um, fun and comfortable experience where I feel authentic. So I just want to thank you with that.
I love that. I love that. And that's not this conversation, but I do want to offer just gratitude to the universe or God or the divine or the great something, something, whatever it is you believe in, and I believe in, that I feel like when we allow ourselves to just show up,
Hmm.
then there's a third something here with us, you know, supporting us and offering great quotes or great thoughts and insights. And it's one of the ways I feel so much joy is being in that, you know, conversation with you and also with life, right? So
Yeah.
grateful that you're willing to do this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I,
All right,
you
so
know.
we'll be back again sometime soon, at least within the month.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, Sherry. See y'all.
Bye. Take care,
See you,
Shawn.
Christopher.
Thank you to anyone who's here now or later. Bye bye.